Hey, shalom, shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught us, and shalom to the elect. This is going to be a lesson going into some current events surrounding World War III, otherwise known as the Third Woe in the scriptures. And this is from theguardian.com. I just did a quick Google search because I had watched earlier a video from Redacted, which was about Germany. Well, a leaked, pretty much, I guess, conference call or something along those lines, or a discussion about attacking Russia. All right. So I'm going to get into this article, grab a few precepts. Lord's will is edifying, but it says NATO is growing reckless over Ukraine and Russia's German military leak proves it. So as you can see here, and this is an opinion article, but there's a lot of facts in here. It says an intercepted meeting on sending Taurus missiles to Ukraine suggests the West is on the brink of a risky and futile escalation. Yeah, because Ukraine is pretty much on the brink of collapse in terms of their resistance to Russia. All right. They don't have the resources to continue on in that battle. But the West keeps pressing the issue because their pride is getting in their way. All right. And they want to have that strategic position in Ukraine, but they're going to lose it. That's how it looks. That's what it's looking like. So just get into this article. It says the German armed forces are mad. The leaking by Moscow of a 38-minute discussion between the head of Luftwaffe and senior officers on sending Taurus cruise missiles to Ukraine suggests that NATO's will not to escalate the current war is weakening. The meeting reportedly, because they're getting impatient and they want to fulfill their enterprise, referring to the elites of the nation of Edom. The meeting, reportedly held on an unencrypted line, had all the secrecy of a teenage group chat. So they're getting sloppy, man. They're getting intercepted. You know, we could grab a quick precept, matter of fact. Isaiah 47. We know this is about Babylon the Great in general. Yep, this is a good one. Isaiah 47:10. You know, getting into Esau's downfall. All right. Isaiah 47:10. You felt secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said. But your wisdom and knowledge have led you astray. And you said, I am the only one and there is no other. So that's the pride of America, Babylon the Great. And their pride extends to a lot of their allies like Germany, which we know they're going to turn on America. Okay. But they felt secure in their wickedness. They felt as though no one could expose them. But now they're being exposed left and right. Okay. And they're just being reckless. They're moving recklessly. They're moving with reckless abandon. All right. It says the meeting, reportedly held on an unencrypted line, had all the secrecy of a teenage group chat. It boosted Vladimir Putin's claim that this is a war of the West against Russia, with Ukraine as mere proxy. You see? So this is what the West does. Okay. They use these nations. They act like they're championing your cause. Ultimately, your people will die. Ultimately, you will lose. And they will use you for whatever means they can. And then when you get used up, they toss you out. They've done it with many countries. All right. Libya is another example of a country that was just a pawn in their big game. And they took out Gaddafi. And then what happened? A bunch of atrocities started happening. Slavery came back in a big way in Libya. Okay. That guy had actually taken care of his people. And they can say, well, yeah, you're a tyrant. The thing about the West is they are tyrants themselves, but they get to play as though they're not. Because they give people so-called freedom, which is really just letting the people do as they will, letting the people do and run around and do anything. So other leaders that actually have a sense of order in their country, they will demonize them because they're not with the get down of anything goes, like how the West is. Okay? The West justified objective, but in this case, Ukraine is all with the shits. You see? Because that's another Edomite nation. It says the West justified objective in Ukraine was to help foil Putin's attempt to topple Kiev's elected government, which, you know, they put elected. Really, they've been selected. All right. This was achieved in a matter of months thanks to the Ukrainian army with Western logistical support. At no point did NATO risk that time-worn precursor of so many past European wars, the reckless escalation of a local conflict into a continent-wide one, which is inevitably what's going to happen. Now, because we know the Germans are teeming in the Holy Scriptures, let's see what it says about teeming. Jeremiah 49 and 7, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? And that's evident when you look at how they're conducting themselves. Okay, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him. The so-called white man, his calamity. The end of his kingdom, the time that I will visit him. So the Lord is going to visit with judgment. Okay, if grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. So comparing Esau to a thief that cannot be satisfied, but also showing on the flip side, the Lord is very poetic about how he describes things, because Esau is going to be stripped. Just as he stripped many other places, the Lord is going to leave him bare. Okay? But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay, so Esau is being bare. The so-called white man is being exposed, and it's through these weak-ass counsels that they're coming out with. And they're being intercepted. Their enemies are making fools out of them. Okay, it says for 2 years now. You know what? Let's read from the top. But as the conflict in Ukraine has reached predictable stalemate, NATO's strategy has lost all coherence. This is the moment when such wars run out of control. For 2 years now, Western leaders have polished their macho images at home by visiting and goading Kiev's president Volodymyr Zelensky to seek total victory with their help. It was Boris Johnson's favorite pledge, but then his voters were merely paying for it, not dying. Right, so these people there, you know, they'll pay for it, but over in that country, the people are paying with their blood, paying with their lives. France's Emmanuel Macron has at least suggested sending troops. Equally predictable was that total victory was never on the cards, and Esau's undoing has always been his pride. Because they could really just say, you know what, let's just come together, work it out, but they're fighting amongst themselves because Russia is also Edom, all right? It's a part of Edom rulership, but it's just a different branch that's separate from the Western version. Okay, they're more of a conservative branch of Edom, but they're all the wicked at the end of the day. All right, so they could just come together and say, all right, you know, we'll work it out. We'll get this part of the world. You get that part. We'll establish an enterprise. But what are they doing? They're fighting amongst themselves like fools. But who is the one that's doing that to them? The Heavenly Father, man. All right, Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So there you have it. The king's heart. All right, his mind. All right, this is how the Lord is with all the inhabitants of the earth, especially with the kings, because they're the ones that establish different agendas on the earth, and the Lord uses the kings, the rulers, to establish what he ultimately wants. And in this case, it's going to be for World War III. Equally predictable was that total victory was never on the cards. This meant that at some point doubts would ensue. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO's Secretary General, now declares we must stay the course without saying what that means. Yeah, so they just they don't have any direction there. They're just trying to resist. It says Germany's generals may want escalation, but its Chancellor Olaf Scholz has long been cautious. So, too, is a large swath of U.S. public opinion, while the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, remarks only that the West must ensure Russia's war continues to be a strategic failure, which it's not. They could waste Ukraine if they want to, but the thing is that they're trying to preserve the infrastructure so they don't have to rebuild it and waste more resources. So they're playing the war of attrition. See if I could grab that real quick. Yeah, it says here, attrition warfare is a military strategy consisting of belligerent attempts to win a war by wearing down the enemy to the point of collapse. So that's what they're doing because America is stretched out too thin. Russia is only focused on Ukraine. America has its nose up everybody's ass. So with that being said, they know that, all right, all we got to do is wear these people out. And when the time comes, they're going to be destroyed. Because they're not able to manage their resources and their greed. They've been spreading out and doing this and doing that. And now when you spread out like that, you're never strong in any one place. You're present everywhere, but you're not winning anywhere. Moscow at war can always play long, you see? Horrific though it seemed at the time, the mooted deal in spring 2022 to revert to some version, almost any version of the pre-February 2022 border would have made sense. Instead, Ukraine has come to seem ever more like a NATO mercenary for Western generals wanting to boost their budgets and relive the Cold War games of their youth, the prices paid by their taxpayers and Ukraine's young men. Let me look something up real quick. So this is an estimate. It makes sense that it's actually a lot more than this. Okay, but it says here, a Ukrainian civic group said in November 2023 that it had confirmed the deaths of nearly 25,000 Ukrainian soldiers since the invasion began by using open sources and put the toll at more than 30,000. That's an estimate, and they're going to downplay it. So it could easily be 100,000 or more. Okay. All right. And then also, Ukraine war casualties near 500,000. All of a sudden now it's 500,000, according to the New York Times. So, I mean, they're clearly underplaying the numbers. And also, that's not even including those that have been wounded. Some it's when you hear wounded, it's not just okay, wounded, you had a boo-boo and they put a band-aid on it. No, you're talking about dismembered, limbs missing, never be the same for life. All right, so this is what happens. But this man is as deaf. If we could grab that. He can't be satisfied like the grave. Habakkuk 2:5, yea, also because he transgressed by wine. And part of his wine is his warmongering. That's part of his philosophy. All right. He is a proud man, but he got everything that he has by conquest. And that's all part of Esau's blessing, the sword. He's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. So that lines perfectly up with this article. He doesn't keep at home. He's always out there doing something. That's why he lost the blessing to begin with. You see, that's a key hint. That's the Lord giving you an indicator of who Esau is. Okay, that this verse is talking about Esau. Now, who is this man that transgresses by wine? He doesn't keep at home. The so-called white man, because Esau, that's why he lost the blessing. He was out there doing the most in the field. And when he came back, he was starving and he was willing to lose his birthright. Okay. In order to have a carnal relief for a moment, which is going to lead to, 1,000 years of hardcore slavery and pain for him. You see, but he doesn't think about consequences. This man is reckless. Who enlargeth his desires hell. And they say there's nobody more dangerous than somebody that's losing power, because then they get desperate and they start to do crazy, reckless, dangerous things that could endanger themselves and everybody around them. And that's going to lead to what? The missiles flying. The Wadi Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the elect will be delivered from that. All right, but he enlargeth his desires hell, because hell, which is the grave, all right, it always is always space down there for more bodies. All right. And that's just how the so-called white man is. He is compared to death. All right, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, he wants to have that complete grip, and he's tightening that grip on earth right now. Okay, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? And that's why the West, especially America, is a big joke now. All right, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, because it's all about his greed. He can't have enough. You know, it's not enough for him to have enslaved the Lord's people. It's not enough for him to have subjugated all the nations of the world, to have put animals in zoos. Even the animals are in prison, man. You got whales beaching themselves because of how toxic the sea is. This man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, the so-called white man. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, dealing with his debt. Okay? Debt. Okay, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? And that's exactly how you had no mercy, so no mercy will be shown unto you. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So that's because this man has spoiled many nations. Now America's time to be spoiled is coming. The violence of the land, bloodshed, even amongst they destroy their own people. They destroy their own Edomite people. So they don't have these elites. They don't have any mercy on nobody. So when the time comes, they're not going to get any mercy. All right. So with that, all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Achak Wadash. Shalom to the next one.